All right, thanks a lot, Allison. America's first Muslim congressman, well, he's not getting a warm welcome from one of his colleagues. Virginia Republican Virgil Goode says if Americans don't wake up, there'll be more Muslims moving to the U.S. and getting elected. Joining us from our D.C. bureau is Mukeet Hussain, president of the Virginian Muslim Political Action Committee. And here in studio is syndicated columnist Joel Mowbray. Good to see you both.
Glad to be here.
Good morning.
So, Mukeet, let me start with you with regard to the statements that Virgil Goode made, Republican Representative Virgil Goode, saying that basically this politician in Minnesota should not be allowed to use the Quran when he is sworn in. And also, I guess the statements went a lot further than that, saying that Muslims should not be allowed basically to become politicians in the United States.
Yes, actually the statement was rather disturbing at several levels. First of all, it was very irrational. If you read the statement, the congressman tried to tie together several things which don't make any sense. For example, he talks about Keith Ellison, and then immediately he talks about immigration and illegal immigration. Well, Keith Ellison is not an immigrant. He has been in this country for his family has been here for generations.
Right.
He's an African American. Of course, he has nothing to do with immigration. Secondly, he talks excuse me, he talks about illegal immigration.
Right.
Most Muslims in this country are not here as illegal immigrants. So tightening the immigration procedures is not going to make any difference one way or the other.
Okay. Joel, I want to bring Joel in here because there are people, though, who say that Keith Ellison does have some troubling aspects of his past, including you.
Yeah, absolutely. Keith Ellison was, an issue in his campaign was his past affiliation with the Nation of Islam. And he said, oh, well, I apologize, but I was never actually a member. Well, the thing is, he was more than a member. He was a spokesman for the Nation of Islam. This is Minister Louis Farrakhan's group, which believes that the Jew is the devil and hates all white people, an openly bigoted, racist, anti-Semitic organization. And now, even more troubling than that, is his closeness with a group called CAIR, the Council on American Islamic Relations.
Right, we've heard about them recently with the imams on that U.S. Airways flight.
Yes, they are representing, in PR terms, the 6 imams who were kicked off of the U.S. Airways flight. Well, CAIR is founded by 2 self-identified supporters of Islamic terrorism named Nihad Awad, who's known Keith Ellison for almost 20 years, and a guy named Omar Ahmad. And at various speeches back in the 90s, they declared their support for Islamic terrorism. Now, Nihad Awad flew to Minnesota and did a fundraiser for Keith Ellison. He bundled hard contributions for Keith Ellison in the amount of about $10,000. And Keith Ellison flew to Florida for a CAIR fundraiser just before the election. All told, CAIR helped Keith Ellison raise over $50,000.
Mukeet, what do you say to that? Because I think that some Americans may be a little nervous about Keith Ellison's past, and maybe this is more than just using the Quran when he is actually sworn in.
Well, first of all, whether Nihad Awad and other people that who were mentioned, whether they had any terrorism ties or not, is not entirely proven. And if they had ties,
but even if there was speculation.
Even if they had terrorist ties, I don't think that has got anything to do with Keith Ellison. But the real disturbing issue about this whole situation is not Keith Ellison. The real disturbing issue is that the congressman makes a very sweeping remark, basically condemning all Muslims. If you read his letter,
right, and I think Joel agrees that that was out of line.
And look, I will say to Mukeet, and I've said this to you as well. I don't agree with what Congressman Goode said. I don't believe we should be cutting off all Muslim immigration. But lest we forget, all 19 of the 9/11 terrorists came here on legal visas, so we clearly need to figure out who is coming in from these Islamic countries, especially countries that are known hotbeds of Islamic extremism. All
right, Joel Mowbray, Mukeet Hussain, thanks for your time today.
Stop financing terrorism. Join Terror-Free Energy Coalition. Visit www.terrorfreeoil.org.